Hello, Waverly Chalk Paint. So as you can see, I am making a tag out of this sticker packaging, the backer board. I looked at the packaging and I thought it looked like a tag, so I snipped the corners off and I am painting it. I have perfected this speed painting technique, so I thought I would use it on this project. I have given it one coat of paint here, and I am drying it with my heat gun, and I'm flipping it over, and I am going to give the other side a coat of paint. I typically will only do one coat of paint because of the layers. You can't see much of the background, but on this project I'm thinking that I'm probably not going to cover the entire background, so I go ahead and give it 2 coats of paint, and I give thicker coats where that dark purple border is, and I'm drying it again, and again I'm using my speed painting technique here. And here goes the second layer of paint. And now if you can't speed paint, that's okay. Take your time. Go at your own pace. You know, you'll get the job done a little bit slower. But I'm a very busy grandmother of 2, and so I sometimes need to get things done rather quickly. So, and then I'm drying the second coat of paint on this side, and you'll see here that I make a mistake. I heated up the chalk paint a little bit too much on my wax paper, and yeah, it stuck. So a big glob of it came off. So I'm giving an extra thick coat there where it pulled off, and I'm afraid to lay it back down onto the wax paper, afraid that it will pull off some more of the paint. So I'm just holding it in my hand and giving my second coat of paint here. And I'm going to go ahead and heat it up to dry it. And I really like the way that it feels after I paint cardboard, because it feels like rubber to me. It will go back to feeling like cardboard after it's completely dry, but I like to play with it, and I like the way it feels, and at this point I'm afraid to lay it back down on the wax paper, so I lean it up against my heat gun. Okay, so now we're completely dry. I've already missed one side of this tag, and I'm going to go ahead and mist another one. Now this is special shimmer glimmy mist because I made it myself. I can't justify spending the amount of money that these glimmer misty metallic sprays cost in the store. So what I've done is I've added some water to a tiny spray bottle, and I've put some of my metallic acrylic paint in it, and I shake it up and I spray it. Now I don't know if it gives the exact same effect because I've never bought it from the store and I've never used it. So it makes me happy. I can't compare it with the stuff that you buy at the store because I have nothing to compare it with. But I like it. It gives it a misty, kind of glimmery shimmer. I must say you do need to shake it up very well because the metallic flecks do set at the bottom of the spray bottle. But I like the effect it gives, and it's cheap. You don't have to I put maybe a teaspoon of paint in that spray bottle. I just squirted it right in there. I shake it up very well. This is the only color I've made, but I figured I'd use it. Oh, I guess I've sprayed both. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I've sprayed both. You probably can't see the metallic reflection that it gives off on camera, but it does. You know, it's very subtle, but I like it, so I use it. Now I'm trying to figure out the placement of my paper doll. This is a Gorjuss doll. Now I don't have these stamps, and I don't have any good markers that would even justify these Gorjuss stamps. So I just simply print them off, and I print it off on book paper. I buy my books at the dollar store. They're only $1. They're novels. I don't read the novels. I get to know the characters a bit because I use all of the pages in the book. I know one of the characters in this book's name is Connor because everything I cut out has Connor on it. Connor, Connor, Connor. So I know that one of the characters' names is Connor. But that's really all I know about this book. So I print it out, and that might be cheating to some, but for me, I don't have the stamp. I don't have good markers to color the stamps, and I love the Gorjuss dolls, so this is how I do it. Hopefully someday I'll be able to afford the stamps and the markers, and I'll be able to make my own art with these stamps, but for right now, this is what I use. So I'm pasting her down. I've already pasted down some fabric at the bottom, and I get those rolls. I can't think of the name of it. How silly of me! But I get the rolls of that at the Dollar Tree, and I got these flowers. I got them half off. I don't typically buy a lot of that kind of stuff, but they were half off at Hobby Lobby. And so I got some, and I really like them. They're, I really like the shape of them, and they've got little gems in the middle. Some of them are glittery, and some of them are just, it's like a faux leathery look. So I'm gluing some of those down, and I'm sorry I'm a bit out of frame here, but I think you can still kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm just gluing those down, placing them where I feel they need to be, and this is sped up a little bit. I typically go a lot slower than this, but I sped it up so that you don't have to see the pain of me trying to arrange where I want these to go. And this is a butterfly that somebody sent me in one of my flip books, or a pocket letter that I thought looked pretty. Now I know that she's a medicine girl. She's got her feathers and her owl, and she does have like a little skull barrette. But I thought to go more with the theme of this tag that she needed a flower in her hair, so I covered up the little skull barrette in her hair and put a flower. I thought that the background needed to pop a little bit more, so I got out my cheap ink pad and my stencil, and I'm inking with a little makeup sponge dabber some ink onto the background, just to give it a little bit more interest and definition, and to cover up some of that white space. And I'm just dabbing some ink dots on there to just make things pop a little more, and I think it does. I think it looks good with that on there, so I'm going to add a few more to the bottom down here. I'm trying not to get it on the actual Gorjuss girl. And I succeed pretty well. I do get a little bit on her, but it's not that noticeable, and it does kind of help blend her in a little bit to the page, so it doesn't just look like she's stuck on there. So it's not too bad. And then here I am thinking, oh, maybe I can wipe my cheap ink off. I just buy the cheap ink. It's just the Craft Smart ink, as you can see there. Again, I try to go as cheap as I can with the supplies because I don't have a whole lot of extra money, so you know, I go with what I go with, and I'm happy with it. It works for me, so. And I haven't ever used the other stuff, so again, I don't have anything to compare it with. So I added this lace. Again, somebody sent me this piece of lace with, I think it was a tag, so I decided to put that up the side. And then my most favorite part of this tag is these little buttons that my friend Shelly sent me in a decorated notebook swap that we did. She sent me the most beautiful decorated notebook, and inside were these little buttons. They're made out of shells, and I just love these buttons. So immediately after I put this lace on here, I knew that it needed something else, and immediately I thought of these buttons that she had sent me. And I never put buttons on anything and just leave the holes blank. I always have to put something in the holes, whether it be string or a piece of paper. So what I've done is I've cut the edge off of a book page, and I've strung it through, and I've crossed it in the back, and let the page or the paper cross out and come out the back. And it just adds so much to the button. I think that if you're creating something with a button, you need to add a string or something in there to finish it off. I just don't like leaving those holes with nothing in it. That's just me, but I think it finishes the button off. So here I am doing it again to another button, and this is more of a tan colored button, and I'm going to add it down below the blue button there, and I'm going to cut my little ends off. I just love the way that looks. It just finishes the button off. And here I'm going to do a matchy-matchy with that bottom button and put one up on top. And that just makes that blue button pop. So Shelly, if you're watching this, thank you so much for those buttons. It's hard for me to use them on projects, but I hope that it brings joy to other people to see those beautiful shell buttons that you sent me. They're just so gorgeous. And your notebook that you sent me and all the little extras that you put in there, it just touched me so much. I just am so touched by the whole swap that we did. I'm so grateful for all the things that you sent me, and I just wanted to share that with somebody else. So there's the finished tag. I'm glad that you guys all came with me on this adventure of creating it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm sorry. We're going to add some strings. There's the little bag that those little treasures came in. It's so sweet. She put my initial up in the corner. She must have stamped that. Just so sweet of her. So there's the tag. I'm going to add some string to the top of it to finish it off, and then I decided that I'm going to add another piece up at the top just to put a little bow up there. I'm going to tie a bow. Again, this is sped up. I really can't tie bows this fast. And there we have it. She's all done. Isn't she gorgeous? So, if you stuck around until the end of this, there's a surprise. So keep watching, and this wonderful little tag could be yours. Thanks so much, you guys. Please come back. God bless.